There it is, the equation value. If I just refresh that page, you can see this time, instead of the script being run, it's been written out to the browser as HTML, not as raw HTML, but as encoded HTML. That's how you stop your cross-site scripting from happening. The difference that I did there was I changed the property I'll use. In .NET, in ASP.NET, the textual properties of inner HTML and inner text do something very different. Inner HTML just renders whatever. It's like a literal control. If you send it a word, it will render it exactly the characters that you send. If you send something to inner text, it does something called HTML encoding, whereby it converts characters which are HTML to their readable formats. So if we just zip back to the page, I'll show you what actually got rendered then. Come to HTML Watch. And I'll inspect the page. But you're setting the inner text as opposed to the inner HTML property. There are a lot of cases where you won't be using a control that's got those properties. So as a course of building apps, you should learn to always call the server.html encode method, which is exactly what gets called inside the inner text property internally to encode that string out, but you've got more control over it. So when you're sending anything to the browser, anything from the database, anything from a source you don't know anything about, RSS feeds, web services, anything that you're picking up off the query string or in the form, if you're writing it back down, make sure that two things. One, you've got request validation turned on if you don't need the HTML. If you do need the HTML, that you are HTML encoding everything that goes down to the client. Otherwise, you can be really scuppered by security. So if we just run this one more time, running the HTML encode manually this time, we should see exactly the same thing. He says, sorry, my fault. I've signed it wrong properly. 1 second. Because inner text already does the encoding, it's encoded it twice. What let's do is that. Functions that MySpace have put into their site, added himself to people's friends lists, and also updated people's homepages with that bit of JavaScript. And the viral thing spread out so quickly that it took down MySpace. They didn't know what it was. They couldn't see it. It was just users using the site in a very odd way, but they were all using it until they spotted this bit of JavaScript that had been injected. It had gotten in through a place where they weren't HTML encoding where they should have been, where they weren't checking for script tags where they should have been, and they got bitten by it. They got bitten really badly. Another place where it got done is Yahoo Mail. Only in June this year, they had a worm spread through their site, through the website, because a user managed to find a way to inject a bit of JavaScript into the page, which parsed the contact list for the user that was looking at it, and then sent itself to everyone else on that contact list, so that when they opened it in Yahoo Mail, they also got the script running, and before they knew it, it was doing the rounds. It was just going round and round and round and round. And it was actually an antivirus company that spotted that one happening, because they saw this bit of JavaScript appearing on lots of people's machines, and they realized there was something wrong. So, as a developer and as website owners, you guys are not going to spot this happening. So the best bet you've got is to stop it before it does happen. You've got to be sure that you're encoding whatever you can, whenever you can. So, to summarize, you want to HTML encode everything. You want to use the validate request. You want to ensure that you're authenticating your users when you're using the web services, because that web service can be called from anywhere. Don't think that because you're using it from Atlas that it's secure. It's not. It's open completely. You need to ensure that it's authenticated, that the user is authenticated when they call those web services. So add friend, the message user web service before, I checked the authentication in there, and that ensured that the only person that could use that is a user or a hacker who happens to be using that account. You can't really stop that. If you've got sensitive items, such as